Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki
Jai.
Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumararpanastu. With our grateful pranams for one more chance to be able to sing His powerful name. We have been seeing the glory of His name, the stories of His glory and His Rama's glory. Yogi Ramsuratkumar is Kripa Samudram, is the ocean of grace, the ocean of Leelas. We happen to see a few drops from that huge ocean. Even that is enough to give us a glimpse of what Yogi Ramsuratkumar really is. Now let's shift to the early 80s. Shri P. Ramachandran, the then governor of Kerala state, had a great veneration for Bhagwan, very devoted to Bhagwan. He would come and have Darshan of Bhagwan whenever he possibly could. Once, all of a sudden, without any warning from inside, he fell unconscious, and while falling, he hit against one of the rods of a window. It hit him right on the forehead, and he fell down unconscious. Immediately he was rushed to the hospital. The doctor examined and said his blood was thick and so was difficult to go to the brain. The blood supply to the brain had become less because the blood was becoming thick. When the blood becomes thick, it's also sticky. So they said it's all because he was not drinking enough water. And then, of course, they gave him some treatment. And 2 days after, he went for Darshan of Bhagwan at Sannidhi Street House. He went with his nephew, Shri Hariramji. When they went inside, Bhagwan welcomed them, and then immediately Bhagwan, when Shri P. Ramachandran was about to sit on the floor, Bhagwan said, no, wait. And then he went there was one bamboo chair, cane chair. Immediately he brought it and put it there and said, Ramachandranji, please sit in the chair. So because Bhagwan was saying it, he was seated, and then Bhagwan sat down on the floor. He did not ask Hariramji to go and get the chair. Bhagwan did it himself. Such was his care and concern for Shri Ramachandran. But as soon as Bhagwan sat down on the floor, how could Ramachandranji sit in the chair? Immediately he got up, he said, Swamiji, how can I sit here when you sit down? I would also sit down on the floor. He could not do it medically because he had some problem. And Bhagwan knew that. And Bhagwan said, no, Ramachandran, please sit in the chair. Please do what this beggar says. So finally, he had to accept it. And then he sat on the chair. Now Bhagwan called Hariram. He said, Hariram, will you go get a tumbler of water from the mud pot? There was a mud pot there with water. And then there was also an aluminium glass. So Hariramji went there and got a cup of water. And then there was a heap of bottles, from the smallest size to the biggest possible. And they were all heaped up in one place. Even the first time when I went there, he pulled out a bottle. I wondered how he knew exactly what bottle, because it was a bottle of sugar candy to me. But this time he pulled out a bottle of this amla, the gooseberry powder. And then he took out 2 spoons, put the 2 spoons of this powder into the water, stirred it well, and gave it to Ramachandranji to drink. And then again, he asked Hariramji to get 1 more cup of water. He added 2 more spoons. Again, to this cup of water, he added 2 spoons of this gooseberry powder, stirred it well, and gave it to Ramachandranji to drink. And then Bhagwan said, Ramachandranji, your problem is you are not drinking enough water. You must drink more water. Those were the exact sentences spoken by the doctor. Here, Shri Ramachandranji was wondering how, without any exam, they had to go through tests, there were equipments, and then the doctor diagnosed it. But here, just sitting on the floor, Yogi Ramsuratkumar was able to say what exactly was the problem. No equipment. Let's remember in this time, in this space, what he said once when Om Prakash Yogini and Shri Murugadas had gone to have Darshan of Bhagwan, and somebody had come there and complained that he had a heart problem and he wanted Bhagwan's blessings for the treatment. Then Bhagwan said, this beggar is no doctor, denied flat, and then said, there is no equipment here, there is no blood test, there is no X-ray equipment. But many patients come here. My father has given a medicine a medicine for all ills of the body and the mind. And that is the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar. This was his declaration. Now Bhagwan told Shri Ramachandran, how did you get this problem? He asked him how he got this problem. Shri Ramachandran confessed. He said, Swami, in my position, I have to attend many meetings. And sometimes the meetings would drag on. And even if I felt like going to the toilet, I wouldn't be able to do it. And so I started avoiding drinking water so that I wouldn't have to go to the toilet. I wouldn't have to pass urine. And sometimes if I felt like it, I could not get up and go in the middle of the meeting, so I would contain. And that is why, and I had been doing it repeatedly for so long, I'm not surprised that this happened. Then Bhagwan said with such love and concern, this beggar wants you to take every day in the morning, first thing, 2 cups of water. Each cup of water with 2 spoons of this amla powder, this gooseberry powder. You take 2 cups of water, you will never get this problem. So Bhagwan's medicine. Bhagwan also had said, Nama for the mind, and Nellika, amla, gooseberry for the body. So Bhagwan was suggesting gooseberry powder mixed with water was the solution, was the treatment for this. So it's also a hint for us, because Bhagwan had said, hadn't he said, that whenever he gave blessings to somebody in some situation, it's meant for all those people in similar situations. It's been blessed once for all. So anyone who has this kind of problem can try out this and benefit from Bhagwan's blessings. It's not exactly the amla water, it is Bhagwan's assurance, Bhagwan's promise. That would help us. Now there's another scene. Shri Ramji's wife, Rukmini, all of a sudden she developed a pain in the neck, which became increasingly unbearable. So she started to cry, unable to bear it. And then Shri Ramji had come back by then from States. When he found his wife in this condition, he took her to the doctor, and the doctor said it was cervical spondylitis, because she was getting dizziness and the pain was too much. Sometimes she would vomit. So the doctor, after examining her, said that it was C3, C4, C5. 3 bones have been affected. It's a wear and tear, and that's why the problem. And he said she had to go through treatment for that. Usually, they would give this traction. They would make the patient lie down and put some kgs and hang it down from the spot. So the doctor said the treatment is very necessary, and if it is still worse, and they may have to go through some surgery also. But before taking up any treatment for that, they wanted to come to Bhagwan to take his blessings. So when they came, Bhagwan welcomed them, and then Bhagwan made Hariramji, made Rukmini sit behind him, behind Bhagwan. When she was seated, Bhagwan asked Hariram to sit with her. And then Bhagwan said, Hariramji, you put your left hand on the spot where it pains. You ask her, and you put it exactly there. And then Bhagwan said, you put your right hand over your left hand. Hariramji, now a little excited, knew that some treatment was in the way, and he immediately put his left hand first, just as Bhagwan said, and then the right hand over that. And in so doing, he pressed hard. And of course, Rukmini felt this, the impact, but of course she wouldn't say anything. But Bhagwan, who was seated in the front, said, Hariramji, I only asked you to put your hand gently. Put your hand gently, don't press hard. When he said it, both of them were astonished. Hariramji wondered how Bhagwan knew. Even Rukmini was not complaining. But Bhagwan knew, and Bhagwan said so. So he relaxed his hold. And then Bhagwan, now, when the setting was ready, Bhagwan got up and turned to them, and 3 times he waved his hand fan, as though he was fanning them. 3 times he did that, and then said, Rukmini will be all right. She'll be free from this neck pain forever. 5 minutes, the treatment was over. How much time they would have spent had they gone to the hospital and gone through all those treatments. This is what Hariramji said. It's all his grace that they were surviving because of Bhagwan's grace. And when he did not even know that he was pressing hard, and when Rukmini was not complaining at all, Bhagwan knew. And he said it to the surprise of all. He's all-knowing, all-powerful. There's another interesting story related by Shri Hariramji. It was about his brother-in-law. This brother-in-law is a younger brother-in-law. He was an unemployed youth at that time, and the government had plans for this unemployed youth, and there was one particular plan. He was granted by Hindustan Petroleums Limited a license for a petroleum bunk, but then he had to find a suitable land, and set it up within 6 months. Otherwise, the license would be taken away. So every day, I think it's somewhere in Chrompet, National Highway, he would go there looking for a land. Every time he found one, he would be told by people, it belonged to Indian Army. So the next day again he would go, wander, search for it in vain. And it went on for nearly a month, and every day he was going and searching for a land, and nothing would happen. So finally he begged his brother-in-law, Hariramji, please take me to your Swamiji. I have to do everything within 6 months, and I'm not able to find the land. Whatever land I find, immediately I'm told it belongs to the Indian Army, the whole lot. And then Hariramji put one condition. Hariramji said that whenever he went to Bhagwan, he would never ask for anything. If Bhagwan asked him, Hariramji would only say, Swami, I want your blessings. Because Swami knew everything. Swamiji knew everything. Swamiji would do everything by himself. So Hariramji put this condition again to his brother-in-law. You should not open the topic. Only if Swamiji asks you, you can open this topic, not otherwise. His brother-in-law agreed, and they went there. Bhagwan welcomed them again, took them inside, and then gave the newspaper to Shri Hariramji to read out the news for some time. And after that, Bhagwan put his question. He said, you people want to say anything to this beggar? Bhagwan always knew everybody's thoughts. Not only of those people who were present, even if he had a passing thought miles away, in some other place, he would know it. Next time when we went there, he would say that. He would single out that particular thought and say. Now we would have forgotten it, but then he would say it very particularly. You had this, you thought like that. You would be taken aback. So when Bhagwan himself asked, do you people want to say anything? Then brother-in-law got his chance to explain what the problem was about. And then Bhagwan said, do you say that there is no land at all? Yes, Swamiji. Every time I find a land, they say it belongs to the Indian Army. I can't find any land there, and the time is running out. I have to do it before 6 months. Then Bhagwan said, no, there is a land. There is land there. You go find out. And then more particularly, Bhagwan said, you go tomorrow and find out. You find the land. Bhagwan, sitting there in Sannidhi Street House, knew there was land available for his project. When this man was going there every day, searching, wandering everywhere, searching for it, but in vain. So this man, this brother-in-law, thought, how could he know there is a land? I've been going there every day. And then Bhagwan knew that he knew that Bhagwan knew that. And so the next day promptly he went there. When he went out looking for a land, the same spot, a little beyond, he found a man doing something on a particular land. For the first time he saw somebody there, so immediately he rushed there and asked this man. Even before he asked, the man who was working on the land said, you have come to look for a land? Yes. You want to buy a land? Yes. Even this land is for sale. If you want, you can buy this land. Just see how he volunteered information. Bhagwan had put somebody there to volunteer this information. And naturally the brother-in-law was struck with wonder. And then he was very happy that he could find it. And the job was done. There's another brother-in-law of Shri Hariramji who had fallen down and broken a bone at the elbow. And he was admitted in the Apollo hospital, and the treatment was given to him. When Hariramji asked him if he was all right, he said, yes, my hand is normal now. So next time Hariramji went to visit Bhagwan, Bhagwan of his own accord asked him, what about your brother-in-law? How is his hand? Hariramji said, Swamiji, he is okay. It's come back to normal now. Immediately Bhagwan said, no, Hariramji, his hand is not all right. You ask him to come here, come and see this beggar. No, Swamiji, he told me personally that his hand is all right, he's come back to normal. No, Hariramji, his hand is not all right. Please ask him to come and see this beggar. Yes, Swamiji. And then he confronted, when he went back, he confronted his brother-in-law, the other brother-in-law. What happened? How is your hand? Oh, it is normal, it's okay. No, Swamiji says your hand is not normal. And then the brother-in-law came out in the open and said, yes, Swamiji is right. My hand is not at normal. There's a lot of pain there and I cannot turn my hand this side or that side. Then why would you lie to me? Because you spent so much money on me for this treatment, and you would feel very bad if I told you that the hand is still not all right. So I did not want to trouble you further. So I hid it from you. Just see, Bhagwan knew sitting there in Sannidhi Street House what his brother-in-law was going through. And then promptly, his brother-in-law went to have Darshan of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan asked him where it was paining. So this brother-in-law, showing his hand, he said, if I move this side or that side, it pains. If I keep it in one position, it doesn't. And then Bhagwan made him move his hand this side and that side. And every time he asked if the pain was less. And finally, the pain was completely gone. To the wonder of this brother-in-law. Again, Bhagwan knew what was happening in the family. He gave me to understand that if Bhagwan cared for one person, even if one person is devoted to Bhagwan, Bhagwan takes care of the whole family. Such is his love, care and concern. Now this Bhagwan, who is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-pervasive. Now this Bhagwan is here in front of us. I remember another incident. Shri Hariramji reported that once he had gone with his family in search of Bhagwan, they found the door of his house locked. So immediately they rushed to the temple, guessing that Bhagwan could be there. And Bhagwan was there. He was seated near the Ganesh Murti shrine. And these people went and prostrated before him, and Bhagwan made them sit by his side. Now at the time, a mendicant who used to pluck flowers for Arunachaleshwara, he came carrying the flowers, and then he greeted Bhagwan and Bhagwan greeted in turn, and the way they looked at each other and talked to each other, Hariramji felt that they knew each other very well. And then Bhagwan asked this mendicant, "Did you eat anything?" This mendicant said, "No, where would I get food? You get food. There are so many people bringing food for you. Who would bring food for me? I'm only a mendicant." And then Bhagwan, little this mendicant know how Bhagwan had suffered. Hadn't Bhagwan suffered for 3 days, 4 days, even without a cup of tea? People could say anything, but Bhagwan was different from all that. Still Bhagwan smiled and said, "Okay, now you go inside, hand over the flowers and come. Your food will be ready here. By the time you come back, there will be food here waiting for you." This mendicant laughed and then went inside. At the same time, just after he left the place, a rich man came from Chennai for Darshan of Bhagwan, and he found Bhagwan seated there. He had brought a huge plate with fruits and lots of eatables, packets of snacks and other eatables there, and he placed it before Bhagwan. Bhagwan said, "Okay, you sit down and you wait with this plate." And then they waited, and when the mendicant turned up after handing over the flowers, Bhagwan said, "You see, there is food here for you. You take the whole plate and eat it up. The whole thing is for you." Just as Bhagwan promised, immediately there was a plate full of eatables, and the mendicant was wonderstruck. And then he said, "What glory, what glory! Apara Mahima. What an excellent glory you have. Within minutes you could procure this and keep it ready for me." And then he prostrated, took that food. Now this Bhagwan, who knew if somebody had not eaten and asked him and got the food ready within minutes. Such is the care and concern of Bhagwan for people, and this caring, compassionate Bhagwan is right in front of us with his hand raised in blessing. We shall submit our today's prayers at his feet. Bhagwan, thou art omniscient. There is nothing that you do not know. Thou art omnipresent. You are all pervasive. And there is nothing that you do not know. There is nothing that you cannot do. You are Sarva Shaktiman. You are all powerful. We beg you for your immediate divine intervention to free the entire world from the clutches of this dreadful virus and bring back normalcy. Bhagwan, this teeny virus has caused enough damage already. It's played havoc in the world already. Only you could stop the spread of the disease. Only you could remove the panic from the hearts of people. We appeal to you again and again, soulfully, to do something immediately They have announced a vaccine, and the vaccination drive is on. Bhagwan, please enter this vaccine and see to it that it kills this virus. And please give a boost to the economy and support all the steps towards its improvement. And Bhagwan, all those great brave soldiers who are working in the field, fighting the disease at the very risk of their life,